Technica, technica. Widescreen satellites, cable TV, Teddy red, Teddy blue, Teddy green on the screen. It's in your house, at the show, every place that you go. Technicolor is here, Technicolor is clear. It's Technicolor, 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 Technicolor. It's Technicolor,
What's good?
Technicolor, 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 Technicolor.
Who with me? What's happening? Come on in. Who with me? All right, look, let's get started. Let's get started. It don't matter who's with us. It's always us. What's good? Welcome to the Wyatt-Live 5 p.m. conversation. What's happening? Let me fix this up right here so I can see all the comments. Let me get this right, y'all. Sorry, I promise you today, I really have something going on. I have to take this call at 6:30. So I'm going to be very limited on my time today. I know I say that at times, but today is real. So hit the share, hit the tag, let somebody know we're going to get this one in quick. I got a few things to say. And, hey, we'll see how this work out. We'll see how it work out. So I want to say what's up to those that popped in. Let me say what's up. We got about 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people right here. Let me see. Few people on YouTube, few people on Wyatt-Live, few people on my personal page. Brenda Early, of course, she pops in. She says happy Thursday to everyone. You know what I mean? Tracy Dillingham is in the building. She comes in. She says, hey, y'all. I'm going to say it like a country gal. Hey, y'all. What's good, City Slicker? Christy Wingard is in the building. I haven't seen you in a while. You all booed up now. You know how y'all do. You get you a new man. Y'all get people in your life that's brand new. Then y'all turn your backs on the folks you've been rocking with. I've been seeing you. I ain't lightweight trolling you or nothing. I'm just saying, boo. You know, you get y'all a new boo and shit get different for your old friends, huh? You be here. You get here when you can. But when you get a boo, shit get different. Where we going today, boo? We going to get something to eat? Okay. We gonna go at 5? Well, Wyatt and them gonna have to wait. I watch the rerun. I get with them later. Me and my boo going to get some wings. I ain't mad at you. Go ahead, girl. You made it back from Florida. I remember that you were in Florida. I hope everything is working out. Great to see you. Morgan Freeman pops in. He says, what's up? Y'all know that is Mr. Controversy. I am going to bring a topic to the table one day, and he is really going to expose who he truly is, because he is truly Mr. Controversy. Jesse is Mr. Controversy. If you ever heard the things that he say, I'm the only one that really could put a muzzle, if you want to call it, on his words, because we have a mutual respect for one another. But if you all heard what he really thinks, you would have to call him Mr. Controversy as well, because he does not hold his tongue back. He just respects me and I respect him, and he just don't say some of the things that he know would turn off the audience. So I want to thank him, man, because that's my dude. Jesse, one of the realest. I done met a lot of people in the Cincinnati area. I done had a lot of conversations with folks. But one thing, as Jesse says, they could call me everything. Let me try to find my Jesse, Mr. Controversy voice. This is going to be tough. You know what? I just look this way. I ain't stupid. And he's not. And I don't know what he say. I don't know what he mean when he say, I just look this way. But he say shit like this. He say like, I just look this way. I ain't stupid. And he'll say, you know, they call me a lot of things, but they don't call me no liar. I ain't never called you nothing but the realest, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. That's my guy. That's my dude. Jesse is off the chizzy for shizzy, my nizzy. I've been trying to do a show with Jesse, but I know we would get banned from Facebook. Social media would definitely start throwing up signs and shit telling us they censorship. Jesse would be the beginning of the censorship of the internet. If y'all, the people that want to have the internet, you know, like censored, give him a show. He'll work that shit out. Facebook, YouTube, all of them, Twitch, all of them will gang up and start a censorship. Jesse will be, they'll call it the Jesse rule. Mr. Controversy rule. But that's my guy. He don't lie. I rock with him. I like the realist. I rock with cats like that. All right, so let me finish saying what's up to some folks, man. Michelle Hardy's in the building. She says, what's up? She says, good evening, everybody. Those was my words. What's up? Stephen Speed is in the building. What's good with you, Stephen? Good to see you. Chrissy throwing punches, y'all. She throwing punches. She know, Christy know what I was saying was true. So now she wanna throw punches. You know how black folks get. Light-skinned ones do it too. And look at Jesse. Jesse says, one of your light-skinned people. There you go, y'all. He coming out the gate with the foolishness. Christy throwing punches, y'all. Angela Kinney comes in and says, solutions. Y'all know I'm slow to that, right? I look like a damn fool that one day when she says solutions. I'm like, yeah, that's what we up to. We up to solving all these problems and shit. She come in with solution, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, she get it. She get me. And I'm looking like a damn fool. Everybody sending me messages. Dudes looking at me like, no, it ain't that way, bro. It ain't that way. They sending me text messages while I'm sounding like a damn fool. Told y'all I don't have the lingo of this podcast, radio shit. I don't know the lingo of this shit, man. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I come up here and we talk about things, and I'm just an objective dude. Try to add another spin to the shit that y'all brainwashed on. So not all of you, a few of you. Most of you. Where's my rag? Hold on. All right. Got to get this one going. Like I said, I got a meeting at 6:30, so I got to get out of here. So I'm going to just talk about a couple things. First thing I want to bring up after I finish saying what's up to everybody, because there's Christy. She's still throwing punches. James comes in. He says, what's buzzing, Wyatt? What's buzzing, cousin? That's what we used to say. Jesse, wait a minute, hold on. Morgan Freeman. Jesse says, my show starting back next week. Merry Christmas, Nook. See? Oh, Jesse looked like the dude that played Pinky. He is definitely bro. You are a Jerry Curl away from being Pinky from Friday. I'm just saying. Tiffany Daniels is in the building. Tiff, I had a conversation that I really wish you would have been part of yesterday. I really wish you would have chimed in on it yesterday. We were talking about well, not fully, but I brought up the subject of some houses being appraised and hit under market value and who benefits from that. God, I needed you, sis. You know, ain't no brother gonna step up and say no shit. You know, I ain't gonna, you know, I just got to depend on the women to come fight our fights. That's the women. The men show up when the cameras show up. You know what I mean? That's what happened. That's what happened. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. And I know y'all about to be mad. I don't care. You know, I mean, my family, I care, but some of y'all, I just don't care. But did y'all see in the case of the Aubrey case? Did y'all see how who won that case? Who won that case? We as a people won that shit because Aubrey's murderers were convicted, right? But it was a white prosecutor lady. She won that shit. She did everything the naysayers said wasn't gonna happen. She did an excellent job on proving murder. And don't say it was a walk in the park like a piece of cake. No, it wasn't. I watched the trial. The lady did an excellent job. She proved murder with intent. She gave no room for the defense to wiggle. She took away all reasonable doubt. She did an excellent job. Nobody saying shit about that because she's white. Oh, I already know what they saying. There you go, taking up for the white folks. No, I'm just about to expose the perps of the game. Who came out and got in all the camera work after the trial? Who came out? What's his name? Al Sharpton with a perm and a suit. Hands up. They didn't do nothing in that trial. They brought no evidence. They brought a presence. I guess they brought a little bit of intimidation as well because, you know, the white dude stood up in the he stood up in the courtroom and said, "We don't want no black preachers down here." I mean, how fucking ignorant could you have been? And I knew what he meant, but you said it all wrong, dog. You just added gasoline, lighter fluid, and anything else that can spark more flames to an issue. You said it way wrong. But who was it? Who was it that actually put the work in that trial? But then who ran out in front of the cameras with the hands raised up? As in, victory, we did it. You ain't do shit, fam. You ain't do nothing. You did absolutely nothing. All right, so stop it. So my sisters that are coming here and we get to talking, I appreciate y'all who step up, who put the fight forward. Don't need cameras to step up. Same thing happened in the Breonna Taylor situation. The only difference is people down in Louisville wasn't having that shit. Remember? Oh, no, hell no. Y'all go back. We don't need y'all. Crump, we don't need y'all down here. We don't need y'all. Where was y'all at before the cameras came? Y'all didn't even pay this situation any mind. Y'all ain't care nothing about what happened to Breonna Taylor. Her name wasn't nothing until CNN and Fox and all these other companies and media, MSNBCs and all these media outlets got here. Now y'all want to fly in y'all private jets, land over at the damn airport and come over here and talk about let freedom ring. Because the cameras are here. It's an opportunity to shine. We shall overcome. What? I'm sure he got a phone call. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What? Oh, I ain't think about that shit. Soon as CNN and all the rest of the media outlets get down there, they put their pants on and they head down there. That's what those men do. Ain't did shit. Ain't had nothing to do with the trial. Ain't got nobody convicted. Matter of fact, the police officers got off. You don't hear those same leaders saying anything about it anymore, do you? Our leaders saying absolutely nothing about it. No civil lawsuits against the police department. No dropping the ball. They haven't tried to sue the AG. Nobody's done anything because it wasn't really about that. It was all about how can I get in the camera and make this noise. And if we win, we won. If we lose, it was an injustice. See how they do us, and then we'll move on to the next one, and maybe we'll win that one. But what did you really add to the fight, Rev? What did you do? Your presence? You rocked a new suit and rocked that perm all the way back. You slicked it back and showed up. That a boy. That a way to do it. Oh, you did preach at 5 George Floyd's funerals that were televised, that had Ludacris and a few other entertainer sitting in the front row. Good job. Good job. That's great leadership. See, Jesse, when I try to be serious, you come with this. You say, why are you racist? Stop. Well, you are the character that, what's his name? Dave Chappelle played, the blind racist black man. He didn't even know he was black. That's you, Jesse. That's you. You the blackest racist I know against your own people. Y'all should see what he say behind y'all back. Send them some of them videos. I guess that's an inside thing. Nobody will understand where I'm going with that. Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave Jesse alone. Yeah, you're right. But now he know what I'm talking about. He even said it. He said headline Negroes. That's what they are. What was the payout? I didn't hear. Mama Deb is in here. What's up, Mama Deb? She says, what was the payout? I'm not sure in which case you're talking about, but whatever case it was, if those Negroes showed up, they got paid. Because that's what they're there for. They're not really there to seek justice. They're not there for that. These are civil guys. Let's just put the proper easy word on it. These are civil guys, civil case guys. Where when the Aubrey, the three men that were convicted of murder of Aubrey, when the prosecutor got them convicted or proved the point or proved the case excellently, you see who came out with their hands raised up with the mama of Aubrey. It wasn't the prosecutor. That's who should have been walking out the front door of the courthouse with their hands raised up. Those are the lawyers that put in hour on top of hour and interview after interview with potential witnesses and jurors and the public and trying to get all the information necessary to get the conviction. That's who's supposed to be walking out the courthouse with the hands up with the mama. Al Sharpton didn't do shit. He ain't do nothing. But he come out with the hands up. Crump come out with the hands up because they see dollar signs there. They're civil people. I understand. I used to be real hard on Crump. I get it. I still say he pimping our culture, but it's cool. I'll be the one to say that. Y'all don't have to say it. I'll say it. And then I can handle whoever got something to say about what I said about it. I can handle it. What'd you say there? He says, keep telling you a nickel ain't walking or riding. See? Told y'all. Look at what Jesse writes. His name is Morgan Freeman on here, but he's Mr. Controversy. And he has no love for us, I'm telling you. He has no love for us. But let me just say something that I'm super proud of. I am super proud of the fact that, I put a post up the other day about the University of Cincinnati's head coach, Luke Fickell, may be leaving and taking the job with Notre Dame, the head football coaching job. Well, today, guess what? Notre Dame has found a new coach. They have found a new coach. And believe it or not, this is a double-edged, this is two birds killed with one stone for me. Because I didn't want to see Luke Fickell leave. He's done an excellent job with the University of Cincinnati's football program, right? He's done a great job. I mean, when was the last time they've ever been in the top 5 or top 4 in the country? Top 10, let alone. In line for a national championship. When has that ever happened at the football level? And in football, at that level. So I didn't want to see Luke Fickell leave, okay? So Notre Dame overnight find their man. They found a coach. And his name is Marcus Freeman, defensive coordinator. Great guy. Happens to be a brother. I can't wait to get me a new Notre Dame t-shirt. I was never going to root for Notre Dame with Kelly being there, the guy who just left us overnight in Cincinnati and he took that Notre Dame job. There's ethics to things, and there's ways that you should exit jobs, and there's things you should do. Now, I know if you work at Popeyes and you ain't feeling that shit and you can make an extra quarter on the hour because KFC across the street, you can walk out. They'll be all right. But you don't do that shit when you're making $2 million a year and you done made some commitments to some up and coming players and they came to the school because of you. You don't do that. You just said to hell with those kids that you have made promises to. And you did it at nighttime and just left those kids. You don't do that. And he did it. And he did it again. He left Notre Dame the same way. Well, here's what I love. I love the fact that University of Notre Dame hired a brother for a coach. This is the second black coach they've ever had in history of Notre Dame. Okay, football coach. And I'm glad to see it happen. I think Tyrone Willingham back in 2002 or some shit like that was the coach. He was there for like 2-3 years, maybe 4. That means 3 seasons. And, you know, I can't wait to root for Notre Dame. I'm sorry. I'm a lightweight be a Notre Dame fan because, you know, we have this thing that a lot of us say that these big programs don't hire black coaches. You see what I'm saying? So when they do, I have to support them. I have to support the program as well. I got to support the coach. So that means I'm supporting the program. And it's a major move. So I'm pleased in both ways. I'm pleased the fact that Luke Fickell may stay in Cincinnati. I know there's another job that's possible for him. I think Oklahoma or something like that. But I'm pleased because now Luke Fickell gets to stay in Cincinnati, hopefully. And then the other thing is Notre Dame has a new coach. And yes, I'm happy that it's an African-American. I'm happy that it's a brother that gets an opportunity to move a program that is nationally known, has national coverage. It's an independent school, which means they're not in a conference. You know, that's the attraction that a lot of that NBC found. They're not in a conference, so they're independent, so they can play anybody in any Big 10, Big 12, you know, Conference USA. They're independent. That's the beauty in them. Well, thank you, Notre Dame, for giving Marcus Freeman, a brother, a shot. Appreciate you. Thank you for giving him an opportunity. Much needed. Much needed. All right, so I got some sad news. Other than I'm getting out of here at 6:30, I got some really sad news. Have any of you ever heard of the Black Godfather? Have you ever heard of the Black Godfather? I don't want to call it a series. It's a documentary on Netflix. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. The Black Godfather. Has anybody seen this on Netflix? This is Clarence Avant. Mr. Clarence Avant. Very, very, very powerful man in the music industry. He was the first brother to start his own radio station. Very influential in the entertainment industry. One of Al Heyman's, who runs boxing, one of Al Heyman's best friends. This brother is, you have to see this. If you have never seen this on Netflix, you have to watch it. He's very influential in the entertainment world for connecting dots, putting artists together with people. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, you know, Diddy, all these guys know him and they all have done business with him. He's aligned them up with deals, and he did a lot for the younger guys, teaching them about publishing and you know, Jay-Z, all those guys. He's been around forever. He worked with James Brown. He worked with every artist that you can think of. Okay? I have some sad news to report. If you watch this program, you notice he's been with his wife for probably 50 or 60 years. This is him and his wife right here. And her name is Jacqueline Avant. Unbelievably beautiful woman. And it saddens me to tell you that her life was taken by an intruder of their Hollywood home. She was shot and killed in a break-in. And for me to even bring this up to you, I don't know them, but I know what they did for people. So it hurts me that good people like this would get robbed, shot, and killed in their own home when this man, Mr. Avant, has made more black millionaires than the NFL. So you got to understand, because he has put people in positions to conquer an industry, to capitalize on an industry that had been cheating us for many, many years, for publishing rights, all type of stuff. He's responsible for putting people like Quincy Jones together, in positions to win. This is a brother that didn't want to see brothers lose. And you can never put his name or associate his name with anyone and they say something bad about him. He had failing businesses. He went broke. He bounced back. He did everything. He defines the American dream. He walked in boardrooms. See, I heard the story and watched this documentary after my life. I've gone through the trials and tribulations of my life, so I know what he did. He did it at a much higher level. But he didn't walk in a boardroom saying, they ain't gonna let me do this. I'm black. They ain't gonna let me do this. He went in feeling like an equal. So he talked like an equal, and he was looking for equal results. Now, that shit don't work out all the time. But if you go into a boardroom with a negative attitude, or if you go in with a defeated attitude, you'll come out being defeated. You won't defeat anyone. And this man went through what he went through at the toughest times of America for black folks. And he was able to achieve everything that he ever wanted to achieve. Now, I'll give you more information as I find out about the intruder, because they have someone in custody now. Someone broke into this man's house, him and his wife's house, murdered her. I don't know how he got caught, but they do have someone in custody right now, and more information will be available soon, and I'm going to keep up on it. But it's sad. I mean, it's sad. These are people that have done nothing but give. This man mortgaged his home to get things. He would put deals together. This is what I find so intriguing about him. He would put deals together for people, and he wouldn't even get a cut of it. You know how many times I've done that? You know how many times I've connected a couple people, and I don't have a percentage. I don't get a point of it. I don't get a point. I don't have any juice to gain in that deal. But I link up a couple people and make it happen, and they go off and do whatever they do. I don't get anything. Mr. Avant, and I'm gonna give him his due. I want to show you his picture again. The Godfather, the Black Godfather. He did things like that. And, it's funny because old school guys like this can teach you a lot. These are the dudes that I have been sponges of. I sponge around them. You just watch how they move. I suggest to everyone, if you haven't already done it, please, for me, I don't ask anybody for anything, but I'm asking you, please watch The Black Godfather on Netflix. It don't matter what color you are. It don't matter who you are. You have to watch this. You have to watch this, because he is the American dream. He is the American dream. And I guarantee you, after watching this documentary, you're going to feel way different about the information that I just shared with you about his wife being killed, murdered. California is off the hook right now with crime. Off the hook. And until they get a grip of it, and what happens is, y'all know, just like music, things happen in faster, bigger cities, and then it graduates to you. Y'all keep on ignoring that shit that's going on in California and San Francisco and these big cities, larger cities out in California. Y'all keep ignoring how they doing shit and watch how that energy floats our way. I've always told you, you only listen to me When you don't listen until tragedy strikes, and then I could say, hey, that's relevant to what I said. And then they'd be like, oh, yeah, why I did say that. You got the White House today talking about the reason why, the question was asked, the reason why a bunch of crime is going on in America right now is because of the pandemic. That's it. That's a lie. The pandemic is not making people break into the Louis Vuitton store. The pandemic is not making people run in Home Depot and empty up all the shelves. The pandemic don't have shit to do with that. It's about how y'all are focusing in on the criminal, on how crime is being handled in America right now. You got these soft-ass prosecutors. And see, y'all can argue with people that talk about it. I'm in the industry. I'll debate with anybody about this because y'all don't see what I see. Now, if you see what I see, then maybe we'll have a civil discussion. We'll come to a grip. We'll come to an understanding. We'll have an understanding. But if you ain't down there, if you don't know, if you ain't down there sitting in there, if you're not seeing how things are moving, you can't really talk about it. And that's what's going on in California right now. There's a lot of violent crime going on that you don't even hear about. What's going on out there? Notorious. B.O.B. is in the building. What's good, bro? One other thing that I discovered, I was listening to the news and I found out, more information is coming on about the kid who did the shooting in Michigan. Now it looks like this kid had some things on his iPad or on a cell phone, or he had a video and he had a plan of how he was going to shoot the school up. So now the prosecuting office, the prosecutor's office is now saying that it's a possibility that the parents may be charged. Can't wait to see what they charge them with. I can't wait to see what they're going to call it. That fascinates me. I'm intrigued. I want to know what they're going to say. Mr. Controversy says Chicago is worse than the whole state of California. I don't know about that. I'm not saying that it's not worse, but I don't think it's worse than the entire state of California. California is going through it. But you better look at their laws right now. You better look at those laws. Chicago is going through it in different kind of ways. They have a situation where there's so much gang violence going on. Of course, violence follows with gang activity. Of course that. But look, I want to say this. I hope everyone watches. I'm going to put this up on the screen once again. The Black Godfather on Netflix. This is an important documentary about Clarence Avant. He is the American dream to me. And when you watch it, you'll see just how many people he helped, how involved he was in a lot of people's careers that are now successful. You'll see all of that. And how he played the middle and sometimes didn't get compensated. And if I'm not mistaken, he did a lot for the careers of James Brown. I mean, he was one of the first black men to have a radio station. And, you have to pay attention to how people move. And this man right here lost his wife of 50 years, 60 years or something like that. I don't really know exactly how long they've been together, but trust me, it's probably been as long as I've been alive. You have to watch the documentary. I'm sorry, I don't know how long they've been together. I could probably Google it, but it's a sad situation. His beautiful wife, who's been by his side through thick and thin, through the mortgaging of their home, listen, if you're an entrepreneur and you did it while you're married, wife has been there through thick and thin. She's been there through the times where you guys didn't know when money was coming. He was on the road a lot. She went through it. And they do have a suspect. They do have a suspect. So that's really good. Okay, Jenny says married for 54 years. Yeah. Sounds right. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate it. But it's a sad situation. Super sad. I'm sorry to hear that. That I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I wouldn't wish it. Good evening, Sabrina Calloway. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but there's a whole lot of other people in that type of world that could have happened to. But it happened to a good guy. It happened to a great family. And I'm sad to tell you, sorry about that. I'm sad to be one to tell those that hadn't heard about this situation yet. But they found her shot and killed in their Hollywood home. And you don't, when you grow old with someone, that's definitely not the way you want to send them off to their, to their grave or the next world. You don't want to send them that way. So the only reason why I'm telling you guys this is because if you watch The Black Godfather on Netflix, you'll see how important he was in the manufacturing of a lot of our careers, a lot of people's careers. And it means something to me. It really does. So the other thing, I just had a question. Fam, maybe y'all can help me out. I'm going to read some comments, but I want to know, how do y'all feel about this abortion thing that's going on? I've never had a conversation about abortion. We've never sat down on the couch. I've never had a conversation about abortion. I'd like to give you my personal belief. It's not long, but I am pro-choice. I hope for some women and some men who may disagree with my way of thinking about it, I hope I don't offend anyone. But I believe that women should have a choice. And see, I believe deeper than just women should have a choice. I think the man and the woman should have a choice. I know that may sound, kind of funny for some people, but is it fair that only the woman has a choice for the child? What if me and a young lady or a lady have she's pregnant with my child. I'm just hypothetically speaking here. If she's pregnant with my child and she decides she don't want to have a baby with me, is it fair for her to make that decision on her own? Does the court put her in a position where she can make that decision on her own without me saying or having something to say about it? I mean, I don't want to get into a slugfest with anyone about this. I'm just curious because here's what happens. If a man and a woman hooks up at a club or whatever, have a one-night stand, and she gets pregnant with this dude and she go off and had a baby, he didn't have any say-so about that child. Now he's stuck with child support or whatever. And I'm not trying to sound like one of them guys that attack women and they do this for the money. I'm not that guy. I'm just saying, she made the decision. Shouldn't he have a right to play in the decision if the child is born or not born? Or don't you think pro-choice should go both ways? I think so. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But then there's these terrible things that happen out here. There's these terrible things that happen, like rape, incest, things that happen to women that we don't go through. And now those type of decisions can be made by the woman. I understand, if she's gone through something and she's carrying a child, that there's no father or there's no one there that can make the decision with her. And she decides to do what she wants to do. I get that. But there are people telling women that they don't have the right to choose. I can't agree with that. Okay, I know there's probably religious beliefs, and that's why I'm not trying to get too thick into the mud with this, because I'm not going to try to have a mudslinging contest or a fight when it comes down to religion base and thou shalt not kill, and how old is a child when they can really feel things, because that's the argument now. 20 weeks or something like that, they're saying a child has certain parts of the body, and it's actual murder when you decide to do, and maybe it is, I don't know. My opinion, my honest deep down opinion is, I feel like a woman should have a choice. But I have to tell you guys, I think that a man should have that same right. I'll give you an example. I don't know how to say this, but if I meet somebody and we have a child, or we have a unexpected pregnancy, and she says, I'm going to have the baby. No, she says, I don't want the baby. And I say, but I do. I don't really have that right to do that, right? I don't have that right to tell her to carry a child for 9 months. I don't have that right. But she has the right to have the baby and put me on child support for 18 years, possibly 22 or 23 years of my life. She has that right to do that. I'm trying to figure out what gives her more right than me, because she chose to carry the child. When in fact, we both of us done something that, I don't want to sound kind of brutal. I don't want to be brutal on the situation, but I just want to say this. We both made a bad decision. We both did something that created something that was unexpected, and we really didn't plan on a child. So why should she be able to make a lifetime decision for both of us without sounding like a monster? Without sounding like a monster. Don't you think it would be fair that if that man and that woman had a decision while she was pregnant, like when she first discovered she's pregnant, and now y'all have to have this discussion, you're trying to convince her not to have the child, she's saying she's going to have the child, shouldn't he have the right to say, I don't want this child, but you do? Can't we come up with an agreement? If you're going to have the child, you're going to take on the responsibilities. I mean, I know that sounds a little selfish, but there are people that don't really consider all situations all things that can happen when two people don't agree about a child being born. Now, I'm doing this off my dome. I've never really sat down and thought this out. I'm only going, because I'm sure somebody could come in and say to me and I'm easily swayed at this point, because all I am is pro-choice. I've never had another point of view, or I've never been convinced of anything other than me being pro-choice. I've never had any other thought process of okay, I think a woman should have the right. But then I say to myself, where are the men's rights here? Where? Somebody help me with that. Someone help me, because I think if a man has the opportunity, and it's fair to the woman too. I mean, y'all know how many sisters, how many women out here are mad at their baby daddy. Y'all know I hate that shit. They mad at the baby daddy because he ain't doing nothing for the child. Well, you probably would have known he wasn't gonna do nothing for that child if y'all would have had a conversation before you had the child. You didn't have to see that he had 3 or 4 other kids he don't take care of. You ain't have to even use that. That wasn't a red flag. But let me just say this to you. To all the single men, and when I say single men, I mean the men that are taking care of their children by themselves because the woman's not there for whatever reason. Death, shit didn't work out. Maybe she has issues and she's not able to take care of children, mental or something of that nature. I just want to give a shout out to those men, because, this world believes that men don't really take care of children. And so I want to give props to those brothers and those. I mean, I just, I have 2 children of my own, and there's no way in hell that I wouldn't be part of my kid's life. You know what I mean? Like if my wife was to say some shit like, I don't want these kids. Well, okay. You know, when they were young, I'm saying if they were younger, they was 3 or 4 years old. Well, my kids are 4 years apart. So if one was 4 years old and the other one was 8, then I would be a father with a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. I wouldn't leave them in a bad situation because the mother may have mental issues and she just wants child support or whatever, and you think child support is enough to raise a child. It really isn't. It takes a certain type of love. It takes a certain type of attention. So for those single brothers and that are out there that are raising these single dads, and I know a few, big up, shout out to you. That's the strongest shit in the world to do. And to my single sisters, single mothers, same to you. Same to you. And I'll get back on this abortion point real fast. I was born by 15-year-old mother who probably could have aborted me. But I still keep the position that I hold right now, and that is I still believe women should have a choice. But is the system really fair when it comes to choice? Do men have that same choice? If a woman just decides to have the baby and y'all don't even get along, hell, you don't even really know her last name. You don't know shit about her. She don't know nothing about you, but she chooses to have a child with you. Chances are that's not going to go well. So now y'all got an 18-year commitment that started off bad. Chances are it's not going to float too well for the full 18 years. Should he have had an opportunity to say, I don't think I want to be part of this child's life, so I think you should abort the child. Now, I've seen dudes say they want to abort the child and give some money and then say, she didn't do it. And I've seen a whole lot of that. I mean, I've heard those stories, and, and then he still get put on child support. There's a lot of games that go on out there. But then here's the thing. I'm not trying to shame anyone either, because I've never been pregnant. I don't know how it is to hold a baby in your system, in your body for 9 months, and to be told, and to do away with a child. I don't know what that feeling is. I generally try to stay away from things that I don't know about, like carrying a child. Now, my wife carried 2. Can I honestly sit here and say I know that feeling? No, I don't know the feeling. And I believe if a woman aborts a child, I believe there's a psychological situation that goes on there too. I don't think that, and I could be wrong. This is just a matter of my opinion, but I don't think it's the same psyche. I don't think it's the same psychological issue that a woman has when she loses a child through stillbirth, or I think those are 2 different feelings. But I don't think either one of them are good. I think that a woman who aborts a child later on in life has feelings about that situation. She may not if she's a 13 or a 14-year-old. But as they get older, I'm sure they think about it, even if they have children at that point. If you had an abortion at 13, 14 years old, by the time you're 30 or 40 years old, you say to yourself, boy, that other child would have been like XYZ amount of age right now. I wonder how life would have been. I'm just wondering, because I'm wondering why the government, how the government is getting into this abortion thing. And I guess it's a matter of having the right to be able to choose. I understand. I get it. But do you feel it's right for the government to get involved in the decisions that you do with your body like that? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a crazy issue all the way around. But the only thing that I can think of in the whole subject of abortion and things like that, I can't get off of my block of people should have a choice. You know, I've heard a bunch of arguments of why it should be illegal. I've heard, you know, a lot of different arguments, and I can't get off my block on it. I can't. I'm stuck where I'm at. I just believe that anybody that's going to have an 18-year or a 19, see what a lot of people say, it's an 18-year commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. I didn't stop taking care of my children. Well, my oldest is 20. She'll be 21 in a couple of weeks, well, the 13th of December. I didn't stop taking care of my child when she turned 18. And I'm not going to stop taking care of my 16-year-old when she turns 18. I think some of the people who are on here who have children that are 25 and 30 years old, we still take, I think you still, in some sense or some form, still take care of your children, right? You may not pay their bills, but you're there for them. So I hate it when people say it's only an 18-year commitment. I believe it's a lifetime commitment. And I believe that people should have a choice at the beginning of taking on a lifetime commitment. And I don't think it's as cynical as people think it is. I think people think that women are out here having abortions just for any old kind of reason. I mean, of course, these are men who have never gone through the abortion process. And then there's some women that probably have not gone through the abortion process. I don't want to just blame it on one group of people, whether it be men or women. But generally, the ones that have the most to say are the ones that are least effective when it comes to things like that. I used to drive through, I forgot, I think it was Clifton. It's Clifton in Cincinnati. I used to drive because my grandmother used to live up that way when she was alive. And I would drive through Clifton to get through, to go over to the University of Cincinnati from her home. And I had to drive past, what is it? The abortion clinic, which wasn't really the abortion clinic. It was called, somebody help me out. What is that thing called? What is that building called up there? It's called, shit, it's on the tip of my tongue. Somebody will put it on the screen for me. And I would see people out there with signs screaming and hollering, and they would have, you know, babies that had been aborted on the poster. And I mean, you know, I mean, it was kind of sad, some of the shit they were out there doing. And what they were trying to, there you go. Thanks, Mike Ward, this bro come in, he said Planned Parenthood. And see, that's how people get to manipulate you, because they get your mind like, I couldn't even think of Planned Parenthood, but I could think of the abortion clinic. And that's not even what it's called. That's not even what it's called. Thanks, Stephen. Speed came in and said Planned Parenthood. It's not called the abortion clinic. It's called Planned Parenthood. But guess what came up to my mind? The abortion place. And I don't know. I'm just going to speak. I hope I'm not over speaking or overstepping my bounds. But I don't think that women are having abortions or just out here having casual sex because, or having, you know, unprotected sex because they know that the abortion is the plan B situation. They can just go, okay, if I get pregnant, I could just get an abortion. It ain't no big deal. I don't know who, I know a couple people who had abortions, and I don't know any of them that felt okay afterwards. You know what I mean? I mean, from the mental aspect of it to the physical. I'm sure it's not, I mean, there's things that you can only, you know, the body is a very sensitive vessel. And I think we have this misconception of people and abortions. I think there's this thing out in the world that makes you believe that women are having abortions just because they're totally irresponsible and they just don't want to You know, they just don't want to do what's right. So when they do what's wrong, they go do whatever they got to do to make that wrong a right. Now, who would really think that having an abortion is a right? Like like I still think it's a mental strain. Then I look at it like this. There's so many different reasons why a woman should have an abortion if she chooses to. I can think of more reasons why. I got to make it make sense, because this may not make sense to a lot of people, my point of view. But let's just do some pros and cons. If I had to put up a list of why I wouldn't want a child if I was a woman versus why I do want a child, I'm sure the one of me, why I don't want one, would definitely win that race. And the number one thing that I would think of is, hey, this is all it takes is for me not to want one. So if I don't want a child, it's going to be very tough for me to do everything that's expected of me as a parent, and to be a good parent. Hell, I wasn't ready for no child. You know what I'm saying? That could be the point of view of someone. They weren't ready to have a child. They didn't want a child. And I don't want to get too into things, but you know, you look at a woman who could be a child having a child, and if she decides to have a baby and then she end up having the child and gives it up for adoption, that's a mental, you know, that's a hardcore mental strain to go through as well, to give up a child at birth. I can only imagine. And you know, I'm never going to judge a woman who does that. Only a woman. Now, if you're a woman, you got every room in the world to criticize, critique, or whatever you want to do to another woman, especially if you've lived that life, you've been there, you know what she's going through. Maybe you decided to do something different, but I am not in a position to criticize a woman who has gone through certain things in life. I can't be judgmental on her decision. I can't do that. I can't do that. But I wanted to know, you know, what people thought about the abortion situation, because it has hit me. It struck me a little bit. It made me feel like I don't know if our local governments are treating women fair when it comes down to taking away their right to choose, because of all the different situations that can happen to a woman to cause a pregnancy. We all know that it's only one thing that can cause it, and that is a sexual act. And I mean, if you have a kid, a young lady that's in college, this could be a serious detour to her life and her career and what she has in store for a future. You don't think she deserves to take a right? I know she may have made a mistake and gotten pregnant. Her and the guy made this mistake. It's a huge mistake. But don't just say it's an 18-year mistake. When you have a child, you have a lifetime commitment. Lifetime. And I think anybody and everybody should have the right, men too. Men should have a right to take on a lifetime commitment or not. Now, I know this is not a popular conversation. Y'all know I could have thought of some better shit to talk about, but this was on my mind. Short situation. I got a phone call I got to get on at 6:30. And I just wanted to get this off my chest. And I do thank those that stick around and listen to me just go on and on. Y'all know I sit on the couch and y'all my therapy. You know that. But I just want to know how people feel when other people try to take your rights away from you of having a child. And I get the argument. I understand some people that got the religious beliefs and thou shalt not kill, and if a child is so old in the woman's womb. But let me ask you this. Have you ever seen an individual get in a car accident, a lady get in a car accident of some sort, and she's pregnant, and they charge the person who creates this accident? She dies and the baby dies. You ever seen them get charged with murder for two people? You killed a fetus. I get the arguments. I understand where people are coming from. I understand. But I also understand that we got to look at the bigger picture. In my mind is, if we keep allowing people who don't want to have children, we already got enough people out here who don't do the right thing with their kids. And I'm going to say this, and it ain't going to be too tasteful, but I take the shooter in Michigan, the little kid that just shot up the school in Michigan a few days ago. Those are some parents that couldn't control their child. Those are the type of parents that we need to wonder if they're even supposed to be parents. Parents that have been asked to come to a school because your kid got discipline problems. The day that you show up at your school about your kid and his discipline problems, within 2 hours, that crazy nut son of yours shoots up the school. And then you got two parents who could have and should have seen this coming if they were engaged with their child. If they were engaged with their child. Listen, there ain't no doubt in my mind. If my baby, if my 16-year-old, her name is Trinity, if Trinity was capable of shooting up some shit, I'd know about it. I would know it. I seen an interview of a couple and their child on TV today. This was a couple there was a black couple who had two black sons that go to that school that got shot up in Michigan. And that mother said something that I should have recorded it, and I probably should have brought it on the show for future shows and for future conversations. But this sister said this. She has a senior in high school, and I think the other little brother was either a freshman or sophomore. I don't remember. He was a younger guy. But this sister said this. She said, I don't understand why the parents. No, she was specific. She said, I don't understand why the mother didn't know what was going on with her son. I carried my children, and I have instincts of my child. I know what my children are into. That was a sister who said that, and I couldn't have agreed with her anymore. I couldn't agree with her anymore. Here's the thing. I've never carried a child in my stomach, of course. But I do have instincts of my children, and I know. We all know when our kids are up to no good. I know when my daughter did some shit. Okay, I just can sense it. Here's the other thing. You ever walked in the room and you know some shit, either your child then already did it, or are they thinking about doing something? You can tell by the reaction. All you gotta do is say hello to them. Hey, what? I ain't do nothing. That type of shit. What you mean? What you did? I ain't say nothing. We all get a vibe from our children. And it blows me away that parents that we have excused we have really fallen for the excuse of parents don't know what their children are doing out here. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. And now you're getting in an area that I do have some experience in, and that is fatherhood. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to put this on the record right now. If my daughter was to take a gun to Ohio State and shoot anything, I'm going to kill myself. It's my fault. If my 16-year-old goes to school and shoot up the school, y'all ain't got to worry about me. Y'all ain't got to worry about hearing shit about you. You don't have to worry about me at all. I'm going to do myself. I'm going to lock myself up. I'm going to take full responsibility as a parent. I don't even think I'd make it to court. I'd probably have to find the strength to do myself. I wouldn't even be able to keep my head up knowing that my children that I raised and put morals in could do something like that to other people. I would take full responsibility. And if I was a dad who bought a gun, I got guns in my house. My guns are not in the house for the internet, for show and tell. They're not in my house to serve any purpose other than what I use them for, and that's for work and for protection of my home. I did not teach my children anything about violence. And this is going to really set some people off to the left. You're probably going to think I'm thinking that I'm better or whatever. It's not that at all. This is just me releasing. This is one of the reasons that I just found myself, and this is an advantage that I have because I have girls, okay? But I've never whooped my children. I've never used violence, or I've never punished my children with violence. And you're talking to a kid that got his ass beat all the time. Not all the time. I wasn't like that, but our way of getting, as a younger kid, whoopings was part of my life. As I got older and things started happening in my life, my mother, she did a little bit things. She did some shit different to me. She would put me on punishment. We all been there. I would be put on punishment, and those punishments would consist of me losing things. Privileges. No, you can't go to that party. You know you got bad grades. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. But you got some kids that are still getting whoopings at a late age. And then we turn around and wonder how the hell or why the hell they so violent. Because we use violence. Now, answer this for me. Who else used violence to check us? And the craziest shit in the world was when I was a little bitty boy, you know what I'm saying? It was those days of go get a switch. And you had to pick your own. That is so mentally fucked up to a child. Go get the switch that I'm gonna whoop your ass with. Think about it on your way to get it. And if you bring a small one, I'm going to get it, and I'm gonna get the biggest one out there. Now, come on now. Now, I'm not talking about your grandmothers, because there's a lot of us that went through that. Your granny did it. There's a lot of grannies that did it. There's a lot of mamas that did it. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is they have replaced the switch with something else. I had a conversation with my daughter the other day. I said, do you ever remember? Because I got into it with my daughter. 16-year-olders, they 26. Know everything. But I did have to ask her when everything calmed down and I was trying to prove my point to her about some things. I said, can you ever remember you getting a whooping? Excuse me. I got to sneeze and it won't come. I said, do you ever remember getting a whooping? You ever remember me whooping you? No. I can't remember either. And I can't remember my 20-year-old ever getting a whooping. I can remember looking like I was going to give him one. Like, that look. Mothers do it better than fathers. Y'all do it much better than fathers. Y'all have that look on your face like, I wish you would. Test me if you want to. You know, I may have said something that might have not come off the right way. Let me retract something a little bit. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that whoopings create violent people. I'm not saying that I know that for a fact, because there's a lot of children that do dumb shit that, I mean, like the kid in Michigan who ran through the school shooting. He doesn't strike me as a kid that was getting whooped. But I still say that those whips are served different now. If you're not engaged with your child, I think you allow somebody else to raise your child. That could be somebody in the neighborhood, that could be one of their friends. It could even be the internet. And if you allow the internet to raise your kids, that means they have a world of influence. An entire world of influence. That can be scary. That can be terrifying. I just think we need to do a better job at keeping up with our children. And I don't know. I think that's part of the problem. And when I come to the conclusion of parents need to be held responsible for the things that their children do, I stick on that. I stay on that block. I stay there. I just think that as a parent, we take on a lifetime responsibility. And we have this false perception that all our job is to make sure that they have some food and clothing and a roof over their head. That's not our only responsibility as a parent. Your job as a parent is to teach ethics and morals to that child as well. Some of us fail at that. Most of us do a great job, but some of us fail at that. And when we fail at it, there's consequences to pay. And the sad thing is this. You look at a child like up in Michigan, runs through a school. Why wouldn't a kid like that just go run off a bridge and kill himself? Just go jump off a fucking bridge and just go to the freaking bridge and just jump. If life is that tough and you don't like it, just jump. Go kill yourself. Why you got to take so many other people who not living like you, who don't have the same circumstances as you? Why you got to bring so much pain to other people? Why? Did your parents not teach you, or did you not have any inkling that what you do affects other people? You don't think it's the responsibility of us as parents to teach our children that the things that they do out here can affect other people? Well, if you didn't install that in your child, then I hold you responsible. And I'm sticking on my block that the dad, and now I know from more information that the mom, they both need to be in handcuffs and they need to be co-defendants in what the shit this kid did up in Michigan. I'm staying on my block on that. If it was me, I would turn myself in. Here's what happened in that situation too that I discovered. The day that he did all of this, his mother and his father came to the school to have a conference with the principal, and he was in the room with them. They let him go back to class after them having a little conference. As a dad, you coming home with me. You coming home with me that day. Not to mention 2 days prior, 2 or 3 days. I don't know exactly if it was 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days prior to that, they were at the school again with problems with this kid. Let me ask you this. We don't know what those problems were, but 3 days ago, if I had to come to the office, for my child, and then 3 days later, I'm there again for discipline. The first time I'm there for disciplinary. Second time I come for disciplinary. Why are they letting that kid back in school for a discipline problem when you just been warned and just been told some story, or he talked his way out of it, or the parents talked their way out of it? The first time, when you got to the principal's office the second time, the day of the murder, the tragedy, the day of the terrorism, why didn't the school suspend him on spot after that conversation? They should have told the parent. Now, granted, listen, even if they would have done it my way that I'm suggesting, that don't mean when he got back from suspension and went back to school a week later, or 3 day suspension, whatever, that don't mean he still wouldn't have done this. But we might have had a better idea that it was coming if he was suspended and he had some time to think about it, post some things, and then the law could have maybe had an inkling that this was going to happen. Somebody might have seen something on the internet. He might have made a mistake and said something like, well, shit, when I come back, everybody they better duck, because I'm coming back with vengeance. I'm shooting some shit when I get back to school. Then they would have came with the feds at his door, and the shooting possibly would have never happened. But why did this kid get another opportunity to do what he did? What did this kid say that got him out of the principal's office the day of the shooting, back into the population of the other students from 3 days ago when he was a problem? What did he say? What did the parents say? Oh, we got this, principal such and such. He will never do this again. He'll never do this again. We got it from here. I'm curious to know. I don't even know if they'll release that information, but damn it, I'm curious to know what he was going to the office for. What's the disciplinary reasons? I'm saying this because I really want to know. Because look, you know they wasn't saying it because he's an A honor roll student and we was just praising the family and we just wanted you to come in and just let you know he's doing an excellent job. That wasn't the conversation. The conversation is this kid is weird. He's getting in too many problems. They had a black couple who had their sons on the news and did an interview. This kid killed the friends of these kids. One of the kids was the captain of the football team. I seen a video of him after a football win. They showed the video of the kid talking to the crowd, or on the media thing, showing him talking to the newscast person. And he was a senior in high school. Then you got two other little girls. One was 14, one was 15. These girls are gone now. Oh man, this particular school is gonna have their hands full of litigation. I promise you. I guarantee you they dropped the ball on allowing that kid to get back in population the day that he did this. I don't need many facts. I probably shouldn't guarantee it without, a little bit more information. Probably acting like a lot of other people, but I'm just being honest. I already see civil situations happening here. There was a track record of this kid being disturbed. There was a track record that this kid could possibly do this. And either they didn't believe the things that they seen and didn't believe that he was capable of doing it. Hell, I've done that before. The few of you that are on here right now, some of you might know. I know some of you do, because when I posted this young lady who got killed locally in Cincinnati by a guy, a lot of you knew this young lady. A lot of you knew this young lady. And the guy that killed this girl locally in Cincinnati, he shot her 7 times, ran, carjacked the car, drove to his home, set himself on fire with gasoline, I guess he ran across the street to the fire department. They put his ass out, and then he go to the hospital and die the next morning. I knew that kid that did that shit. I would have never thought. Matter of fact, him and I had words. I didn't get him. He didn't strike me as anybody that'd shoot anybody 7 times. I could tell you now that I could have been one of his victims, quite honestly, because we had words. And I didn't put nothing, it wasn't nothing about him that said gangster, crazy, or he'll shoot somebody. There wasn't nothing on him like that. But he did it. He did it. This world is different. And I'm learning. Yes, I see that, Stephen. Stephen Speed is reminding me that my 6:30. I just text my phone call that I have to tell them, and I'm letting them know I'm a couple minutes late. Sabrina Calloway says, I worked with her mom at Hamilton County. Such a tragedy. You know what I'm talking about, Sabrina. The young man that did that, I never thought that he would do something like that. He's no friend of mine. I never looked out. He used my, I'm not going to get into the personal, but I would never think that kid would do something like that. But I didn't know him. I wasn't part of his life. I just knew him. Knew of him. But I'm going to close by saying this. If you're a parent and you don't know that your kid is capable of doing something like that, shooting, then you're not engaged with your child. I know that's my opinion. There's going to be some mothers that hit me in the DM and be like, bro, you don't know. You're right. I don't know your situation. Or I didn't know my son was into this and blah, blah, blah. Come on, man. I know. Let's be fair when we say we didn't know our children was into something. Let's say you didn't think he was in or she was in that deep. I know I had some problems with him. You seen the writing on the wall. You just didn't want to be honest about it. The worst parent in the world is the one that says, it ain't my child. It must be his friends. No, sometimes it's your child influencing the friends. It's amazing. Well, listen, guys. Short show today. I appreciate you being here. That's really my time. Appreciate you being here, showing love today. Thank you. I shall come forth as pure gold. Have you been tried in the fire? Have you been tried in the fire? Well, tell me, did you come through as pure gold? You kick it like a benefactor's benefactor. Well, truthfully, we know you never been a factor. Well, honestly, the truth is that you've been an actor. And now your actions got them boys, got the mask up. Lectures from the devil got you piping hot. This up and you get screwed and chopped, no Michael Watts. When I was 10, I knew I should have been on Rap a Lot. Think like K Prince and I do more than just rap a lot. I went and got my digits up. Your favorite, bruh. You don't want no trouble, cuz. The 25th, I got a meeting with the governor. That's no rap a lot, no cap a lot. I used to from Farron down to Camelot. I used to whip up
In my granny's pot, she asked my friends, was I? They said, no, we not. The mind to a praying woman. The truth's a heavy burden and it's weighing on me. Red dog is caught me slipping with the winning on me. I went to calling out for Jesus like a reverend on me. Chalked it up to sin, took it on my chin. Gotta take some L's if you wanna win. They took it, but didn't take a sin. I didn't even have no re-up I could re-up with. Had to rob another just to re-up. Pray to God it in his heart he found forgiveness for me. It was nothing personal, it was just business for me. When I got old, I paid her back and told her it was ugly. I'd rather ask forgiveness like 100 times than be asking for permission in a beggar's line. Cause of who I be and check out how I tend to mine. I got a partner who don't eat no pork at dinner time. Don't let you act like you gon' ever hurt or injure mine. He have your woman, and that's by dinner time. I keep my eyes on glory till the devil get behind. Now bear in mind the devil made me offers I decline. We not aligned, not combined, I am not confined to any wicked system that these demons have designed. They frame a mind and have you salty as a bacon rind. I'm trying to mastermind how to help out humankind. I'm open mind, but I do not walk on the line. My state of mind is to keep a peace of mind. Unlike Malcolm with my peace at the Venetian blinds. I'm trying to manifest some things in my subconscious mind that I have only seen in dreams of my unconscious mind. My dreams unrefined, spring to mind, state of mind. That make you seem this lucky life of mine is redesigned. And if it is, to thank the Lord, cause that's the mastermind.